Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soft Power Project. Today, I want to share some of my lessons from being a divorced single mom. Plus, I'm in my early 40s, so I hope that means experienced. Before I do so, I do just wanted to plug really quickly my YouTube channel as well as podcast channel as well and my Instagram account. Give them a follow. It would really, really mean so much to me and really help my growth and create more content for you. All right, let's back to the lessons that I have learned. A little warning though, this may be a little triggering for some of you because they are harsh lessons and I only wanted to tell the truth, but know that I'm telling the truth from love because I have seen way too many easy bite-sized advice online, but I think it really needs to come down to the fundamental. Number one, and this is very triggering, and I'm calling myself out as well, is to take off the label that says, I am damaged goods. That's right. When I first got divorced, oh man, I didn't say it to myself, but I felt it. I felt it in my bone. I just felt like I'm damaged. I'm not good enough. Like I couldn't believe that, oh my goodness, I am a single mom. I am divorced. I'm a huge failure. But on the outside, I tried to build my business. I put on makeup, I do my hair, and I go on to these workshops and I try to look as good as I can because I wanted to prove it to the world that I'm doing great. And I also jump into relationship very quickly after divorce. And I never recommend that because I still have that label underneath. And I really believe that this is actually something that a lot of women tend to do. You know, this is funny because women feels like we are damaged goods after divorce or being a single mom. Men don't feel that way. They talk about their divorce. They're pretty proud of it, or not proud, but it is what it is, right? And which is a really healthy way to look at it. It is what it is. I've made a mistake, I own up my mistake, and here we go. Let's make our life better. But women really internalize that as this huge failure. And obviously, it came from our upbringing, our societies. Even though the divorce rate is high, we still feel like this is such a taboo to talk about it, which is why I am talking about it. And, you know, I have met so many beautiful, incredibly confident looking women. They're killing it in their career. They really work out. They go to a spa. They do their hair. Everything about them is so perfect. But they're still holding that label underneath it all. And I can see that because it's affecting how they choose partners. And once you choose the bad partners, that cycle continues. And it really needs to start from, let's just remove that label and ask ourselves, where is that label coming from? For me anyway, it was from me. And yeah, sometimes from my very traditional parents. But at the end of the day, it's from me. And if I removed it from me, then it doesn't really matter. It did take me, it took me about 4 years to really recognize that there's nothing about it, nothing about me that's damaged. because I have done so much. I do my best to be a good mom. I do my best to be a great leader, to start my business, to earn my money. There's nothing about that that's damaged, that says damaged goods. And why are we goods anyway? And it's really about reframing my mindset that I can actually see my self-worth, which leads to the second lesson is that you have to build a fantastic relationship with yourself, meaning that you need to trust yourself 100%, knowing that yourself, you're the one that gets to cheer you up, that gets to be with you in the down times, in the high times, in good times and bad times. You're the only one that will see everything through. And I don't mean that in a really sad way. You know, when I first learned about that, when I just got divorced, I'm like, oh, really? I'm the only one that's my own best friend? That sounds really sad. But once you develop that relationship with yourself, it's so incredibly liberating because everything else sort of just makes sense. You know that what's good and what's not, your standard, it's clear and your boundaries clear. You get to know, oh, I don't really want to go out today. And it's okay for me to be by myself alone in my apartment just to enjoy my day off. It's okay. I don't need to go on dates or I don't need a validation because you get to give yourself that validation. And we're going to talk about the word validation and attention right now. Because without knowing yourself, without the inner connection, without removing a label, you're really just purely dating for attention and validation, which is lesson number 3. Date when you don't need it anymore. When I say you don't need it for attention. You don't need it for validation. And yeah, let's be honest, we get lonely. People get lonely. We are human. We are here for connection. That's just wired in our brain. So when we first experience breakup or divorce, we want to feel that connection again. We long for that connection. But we have to understand and learn that when we are meeting people just purely for attention and validation, we run into the danger of completely dismantling or forgetting our boundaries or standards. You know that feeling when you meet someone and yeah, butterflies in your stomach, which is great, but it's all fuzzy up here in your brain because you don't remember what you actually wanted, or you don't remember your standards anymore. You don't remember your values. So you start changing your values and you start appeasing to their standards and their values. And I think this is why, even though there are so many ways for people to access dating, it's still so hard and actually getting harder and harder for people to have good relationship. And obviously, I do believe this advice or lessons works for anyone. You don't need to be a single mom. You don't need to be a divorcee to learn this. But remember, your boundaries and your standard needs to be so clear to you in order to make the right decision. And last but not least, without the inner work, without the self-connection, without removing all of that labels and things and bad things and terrible things that you're saying to yourself, we cannot choose the right partner. So take the time to get to know yourself and take the time to be lonely, to feel lonely, because honestly, the worst about being lonely is that you're with someone and you feel very, very, very alone. And I bet a lot of you guys have felt that. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I really hope that these lessons resonate with you or just at least make you think. And if you think this is very useful, share this with your friends. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.